Leon, did you hear? They're replacing all of the matches with Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar.
I'll kill you.
Just like 8 matches right in a row. They're going to do a retrospective.
Leon, I don't know how you could hate Roman Reigns and his little group there because they have all the belts. They're like the greatest team ever. They're better than DX and the NWO combined. If they had a kid with the 4 Horsemen and that was the kid that they pushed, Roman Reigns would still be better with the Usos.
I know what you're trying to do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the BREWDCAST with Leon, Town, and I am, as always, Bud Robinson. Tonight, I hear that Double or Nothing is this week.
That's technically next week, but yeah, you're gonna put this up. I assume you're gonna put this up next Friday.
Probably. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, you kind of have to, because if you don't, then what the fuck are we doing?
Retrospective predictions. It's a good question.
I think we should put our predictions up. That we should have that podcast the day after the show.
Yes.
And I predict I go 100%. I'll sound like the smartest human ever.
And I can complain about having upload problems.
Yeah.
But we have something planned before we start talking about Double or Nothing, which I think we're all very excited about.
Leon's weekly wrestling news.
Yes.
Leon, what's going on in the world of wrestling that has your attention, and how do you feel about it?
Well, I don't know what you guys have been paying attention to.
That's what
that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
To educate and enlighten y'all.
Yeah.
But apparently, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw the other night because they were pissed off about something.
I heard sort of about that.
Yeah, I guess the gist of the story is they thought it was silly that the tag team champions were being booked to be both challenging for the 2 respective women's singles championships, only to lose to both of them. So they allegedly, tossed their belts on the table and walked out. And there's a lot of speculation on the quote-unquote IWC that, is this a work? Is this for real? And in my head, the fact that they got people like, outside of the company, like CM Punk and Matt Cardona and shit, tweeting about it, pretty sure it's not a work. If it is, they're doing one hell of a job of selling everybody on it.
True.
I knew that was what you were going to talk about. I knew it because it was the only thing you possibly could talk about. I don't think it's a work at all, and I think
outside of Double or Nothing coming up, that's the big thing right now. So,
I think Sasha Banks hasn't been happy there for a long time, and I've said before on the show that I think of the 4 Horsewomen, she's like the most incorrectly used.
Yeah.
Because she should be, they should have her be champion just all the time. But she's never champion. And when she's champion, they don't give her a reign. It's like they don't want to...
Yeah, she constantly loses, the next fucking match.
Yeah, they just don't want to get behind. I don't know why they don't want to get behind her, because she's got... I've been so confused by that since day one.
You are not alone, sir.
So the thing that I've heard is that they don't have much time left on their deals. Naomi in particular has 2 months left, but Vince has frozen their contract.
Frozen?
Frozen. So if they want to get out of it, they're going to have to get a lawyer and threaten to sue.
Oh, Jesus.
Which goes back to me thinking that we really need to have they need a union in wrestling. I think they really do, because shit, how can one guy control so much and treat people like shit, and then we're just supposed to do it? Because if this was a real job and you tried to pull that, you could never do that. You could never do what he's doing. So,
Yeah.
Yes and no. I think
very much in agreement.
I think. I mean, I don't want to get into business politics. I think that this is sort of typical American business stuff. But on the wrestling side, yeah. I mean, he's been running the show for so long that nobody is going to question him on it, right? Like, because nobody can. And that makes me wonder is, when we say we want wrestling to have a union, do we mean AEW too? Impact? Like, does it improve their stock as well?
I think it improves everybody. I think if you have the saying, I think if you have that ability of, we're all doing the same thing, we're going to work together, so we're not all going to get treated like shit. Because like, honestly, AEW, I think Tony Khan does a better job with it, but there's still people in AEW that kind of get treated like shit.
Yeah.
It's like an inevitable thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of the business, unfortunately.
Like the Big Swole thing.
Yeah.
Like, Big Swole was a miss.
Yeah.
She was a miss. But the way that Tony Khan talked about her in retrospect was really like, oh, man, that's really shitty. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So there's things like that,
Well, Kira Hogan, too, had a similar issue.
Yeah.
Where she was getting... She wasn't getting utilized. And my hope is that, like, it's great that Tony Khan, in some of these situations, stepped up and made things right. But he didn't have to do that. And that's... I think you're right. I think unions are the way to fix that.
I think the other piece of this, though, is the fact that AEW is so new. So it's so easy to look at them and say, like, Tony Khan didn't do it. Vince did here, here, and here, and here. Well, yeah, but Vince McMahon's also been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah.
He's been the guy for, like, 40 years. And Tony Khan's been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of... I think AEW is going through a lot of growing pains right now. I think there's a lot of things that are going on where it's just like you read about the backstage chaos, you read about all that, Cody Rhodes leaving was a big deal. I thought more about the Cody Rhodes thing. Mm-hmm. Cody Rhodes is living our dream because Cody Rhodes left the WWE. He started his own company. He competed with the WWE to the point where they begged him to come back. Both of you and myself would love to be in that situation.
Yeah. Like, there's no way you wouldn't want to be in that situation.
Yep.
It's... There's a disconnect somewhere with me and Cody Rhodes, and there was a disconnect with me and him when he was in AEW. So that's kind of where it started. So it wasn't like, when he went to WWE, my thought process was, I still don't care.
I still miss Stardust.
I think he's more props to that fucker dude. He's doing it. He's going to be the champion. I think he's the one to beat Roman Reigns. I think that's their plan. I think he's going to be their guy for a little bit. And if they can turn him into a megastar, good for them. Good for him. I think sometimes we spend so much time being fucking pissed at WWE that we forget, like, the reality of the situation is if they were good, we would love them.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, because they have good talent.
I don't want WWE to go away. I don't want them to do bad. I want them to do good. They just frustrate me. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really important thing because I think sometimes we get so bitter, especially here on this platform, we get so bitter about how terrible they are, and we give and I think sometimes we do give AEW more of a break than WWE because it's newer. And on the average, they do a much better job. But it's hard right now for WWE because even if they do something good, it's still like, meh, I don't give a shit.
It's like the one good thing that they're doing out of Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Like, that was an awesome match, but it got smothered by the rest of the card. Like, you're absolutely right. Like, WWE.
When people say the best match on WrestleMania was Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and then the response I immediately have is, well, yeah, it was an AEW match. Of course it's better. But it's like, okay, you can't have that mindset. But that's like the mindset I have.
Yeah. Because
I'm not trying to be an AEW only guy, because I'm not. Like, I would much prefer WWE was, like, watchable.
Well, and, I mean, now we have Triple H, who's formerly, he's in the head office. He ran NXT, and you have Cody Rhodes, who's another guy who's, like, pushing this this different style of wrestling, like wrestling, not sports entertainment. The more of those guys that you have, and I have to believe that guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, and I mean, the list goes on. Like, there's a bunch of wrestlers that came from that style of wrestling that are going to bring it, theoretically, have the opportunity to bring it forward. It's just a matter of like breaking through Vince's barriers and his red tape.
Yep, and I can see Sasha's frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my big question for you, Leon, does Sasha Banks or Naomi end up in AEW?
Maybe Naomi.
I
didn't ask me.
I think even though no, I don't think Naomi's going anywhere.
Neither do I.
With her family ties and everything. I think if anything, Sasha ends up going to Hollywood.
That's kind of the vibe I got too, because
have you ever watched like her Broken Skull session with Austin?
I saw parts, but I didn't see the whole thing. But just
from that, like you get the distinct impression that she very much loves professional wrestling, but at the same time, she wants to be a star. She is a star. Like, yeah, it was only a small role in Mandalorian, but she got good reviews for that. Everybody loved her there, all that fun stuff. Like, kind of get the feeling that that's the way she's leaning, even though, like I said, you got the impression that she does very much love professional wrestling. She's still, she's a businesswoman. She wants to make money. She wants to do the best she can in life. So if she's unhappy with that, I could very much see her going to Hollywood. I mean, doing reality shows, getting into movies and TV shows, all that fun stuff.
My initial reaction when I saw that was, oh man, Sasha Banks is going to AEW. And then I really thought about it, and I'm like, no, she's not. Because Sasha Banks can't go to AEW. Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez. Yeah. Okay, and she's put a lot into that Sasha Banks name. Now, granted, that name's only going to get so much. It only has so much like leeway in it, and it's only going to take you so far. And if she comes in as Mercedes Martinez somewhere, she's still going to be good. But I just can't see her. I guess I can't see her in AEW. Like most of these people, like when I saw Bryan Danielson in WWE, like when AEW first started, that guy needs to go to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Adam Cole, same thing. And then you look at Sasha Banks and you're like, well, I don't know. How would she mix with like those women? Because Sasha Banks is really good. The AEW women's division is it's weird. It's really weird. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I can't see her. I just can't see her going over there.
I mean, how can you possibly look at The Rock and not be like, yeah, I want that? Like, how great would it be to go do movies for a while and then come back and do a few matches, right?
And I think that's what she wants.
I think so.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think she should. I think more power to her. I think more wrestlers are trying to do that because going on the road all the time and working all the time sucks.
Yes. That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's hard, and then you get treated like a piece of meat, and some of these guys you just get run through, and then it spits you out and you're fired,
Mm-hmm.
And if you're lucky, you can go somewhere else and make a little money, but most of these guys, if you look at a lot of the guys that we grew up watching late 80s, early 90s, like Tugboat. You guys remember Tugboat? Love Tugboat. Mm-hmm. He's like a construction worker now.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
So it's just real, yeah.
Isn't he like in his 60s?
Yeah.
Jesus.
All those guys are. That's 30 years ago, Leon. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we should move on. We should definitely move on to Double or Nothing, which is not today. It's 7 days from now. We're recording this on May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, Bud puts this online.
I mean, I have to now, right?
Or this is just stupid and don't listen to this.
We have a whole bunch of... Otherwise, I got to edit all this stuff out. Double or Nothing is in a week.
So I want to know is, Leon, how excited are you for Double or Nothing?
Quite excited, Tom. Quite very, very much excited.
Good. But Robinson, how excited are you for Double or Nothing?
I wasn't for a very long time, but they've shorted up the last couple of weeks. I'm pretty excited.
I'm with you on that one, Bud. I'm excited. For a while there, I was like, where are we going? There's no matches. What the hell are we doing? I do feel like this is one of the few times that you could almost see the chaos of what's going on in AEW in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of
a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I have a batshit theory, by the way, later in this. I told you guys this already, but I have a batshit theory about the last 2 matches. Possibly the last 3 matches. That's all I'm going to say.
We're good. There we go. All right, here we go. The first match is going to be the match that is shown for free, and possibly the match I am more excited about than any other match. Hookhausen versus Nice and Mark Sterling. I can't wait to see Danhausen and Hook.
I'm excited about this for 2 reasons. First, it's the first real outing of Danhausen in theory, because yes, he fought Tony Nese, but that wasn't really much of a match.
That's the thing, is he's not cleared.
He's not cleared?
No, I don't think he's fully cleared yet, because he had a really bad leg break.
Oh, okay.
My envisionment of this match is that Hook and Nese are going to have a match.
Yeah.
And then Danhausen and Sterling are going to do comedy, and Danhausen's going to pin Sterling. Or they're going to do comedy, and then Hook's going to kick. Hook's not losing. Hookhausen's not losing.
No.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way. And Tony Nese, I like Tony Nese because I think he's a good worker, but he's the most bland, boring person I've ever seen.
When he's like, well, you saying that reminds me of Lance Storm from the early 2000s when Austin used to come out and fall asleep. And I just think unique. Yes, but I think like they could do a similar thing with Tony Nese, where he just keeps losing, and he just gets more and more angry because all the times that he loses, it's either like it's Mark Sterling's fault or I don't know, something happens where he's like this premier athlete and they make a big deal out of him, but he winds up with like a long. That's really what they need in AEW, I think, is they need somebody who has a losing streak, like a big one. Because not many people do. Not many people who aren't like... No, I can't really think of any...
Soul.
Yeah, that's true. But they still make a big deal out of him.
I don't think that anyone... I'm going to disagree with you. Because in the WWE, they constantly do that. We're going to have you lose for a bunch of matches, and then you're going to win, and it's going to be a big deal. And it never leads to anything. I don't think they should touch that with a 10-foot pole right now. I just think it's been done. They do that all the time in WWE.
But they haven't done it in AEW, and I think that AEW could pull it off.
They could,
especially if they don't. Especially if they have a guy like Tony Nese who is a name, and kind of. And he's unproven in AEW. Give him a losing streak, and then get that fire behind him. Get something behind him. I think if it's a one-time thing, if they're using a particular guy to push like a losing streak, I think they could do something really interesting with it. You're absolutely right. WWE kills it every time that they try and do it because it doesn't work. Yes, it is. Poisoned. But
I think the reason it could work. I think the reason it could work in AEW is the fact that they've always, they've made it that wins and losses mean something there.
Yes, also very true.
And they could actually build it to something. I mean, WWE they always go with anybody can win or lose at any time, and it doesn't really matter. Like if you listen to their booking stuff, and
we're not going to see Fuego del Sol randomly. Win the AEW championship because they're going to go visit Mexico?
Yeah, no.
All right.
Maybe.
We all agree that Hookhausen's winning this match?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also really want to see Mark Sterling get his butt kicked. I think that's I think that's the other most exciting part of this match.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we could see him take a bunch of suplexes from Hook.
Yes.
I just want Danhausen to do the tequila dance, kick him in the face. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be sad.
I'm down.
Moving on, TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. I don't care.
I didn't even know this was happening.
This just got
Dude,
added.
they literally just had this happen, like, what, on... I can't remember if it was... Yeah, on fucking Rampage.
They added it on Rampage.
It was fucking, like... Anna Jay came and ran out after the match that... I forget who the hell else was going on, but the baddies were beating somebody down, and Anna Jay ran out with a bat, didn't even say anything. They took a powder. Like 2 minutes later, there's a little interview section, and Cargill's like, "Yeah, we're gonna fight at Double or Nothing." Like,
they need to figure out what the hell they're doing with Anna Jay. Because Anna Jay is a star. I guarantee you, Anna Jay's a star. She has the look. She can talk a little bit. She looks good. She's like 22.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have to figure out what they're doing with her because she lost to Ty Conti, and that's a whole other freaking disaster, that whole thing. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the TNT belt. But, like, they have to figure out what they're doing with Anna Jay. And, like, Jade Cargill is... They're booking her really smart. And the problem I have with Jade right now is she never shows, like, anybody can beat her at anything. So what's the end game here? Are you going to have her hold that belt until she goes and wins the women's belt?
honestly, at this point, I could see them going that way.
But is she even ready for the like? How long is she ready for the women's belt?
I mean,
like,
she's improving by leaps and bounds, but she's not ready for that. No.
She's got that natural charisma. She's got the look. She's got an understanding of the way the match is supposed to go. But when a match falls apart on her, it's just bleh. There's no saving it. So this match to me is just, we don't have anything for Jay to do. We need to get her on pay-per-view. Let's have her beat Anna Jay. And I think Anna Jay should be more than that. I think they're dropping the ball a little bit with Anna Jay.
Yeah. I don't really have any, like, Anna Jay and Jade Cargill have like one or two matches of history, but like you can't have her win this match. Like, Anna Jay's not going to win this match. So like, why are you doing this again?
That's the problem with Jade, though, is whenever Jade fights, you know she's going to win.
Yeah.
Like, there's never any doubt in your mind that she's going to lose, which is a big problem to me, because these matches, like, when you put her on in a main event, even if it's on Friday for Rampage, like, who cares? You know she's going to win. They
could have... This is the one frustrating thing that they've done. They've done lots of frustrating things with Jade Cargill, as far as I'm concerned. But like, they had that match with Marina Shafir, I think is her name, and I've seen her on Dark, and like, she's a beast. But like, they didn't show any of that to the Dynamite audience, so like, we had no reason to be scared of her beating Jade Cargill. She had one match, and then she fought Jade Cargill.
Build it up with video packages.
Yeah.
Which doesn't always work.
No.
And she was booked as this like badass MMA jiu-jitsu star. And then like a minute into the match, Jade mounts her on top and punching her like she's not any danger at all.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing? So I was not I like Jade, and I think Jade will be money, but I think right now they got to figure out something, because this is just getting, and I feel like there's a circle of like the same 5 or 6 people that she keeps fighting.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unfortunately, there's only so many people that you can put her against, because you have a pool that's sort of like
limited, because you don't want to get one of your top people in there. You can't have her fight like a Toni Storm, because you don't want to have Toni Storm lose like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, moving on.
Okay.
Owen Hart Tournament. We've either got O'Reilly or Samoa Joe against Adam Cole. Clearly, it's going to be Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
So, Samoa Joe or Adam Cole?
I have to think that they give it to Joe.
I think it'll be Cole via fuckery.
It could be that.
I don't think fuckery. I don't think fuckery at all, because I don't think they're going to make the Owen Hart Tournament final have any fuckery.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a legit, because they've been so legit with this tournament. I don't think they have any fuckery.
And they've made such a big deal out of it. And like what it means to be in that tournament. And like, Adam Cole sort of won against Jeff Hardy with some fuckery, but I think they still had a decent match overall. So I think
fuckery wasn't as large. I don't think there's fuckery. I think Joe and Cole will absolutely steal the show and kick each other's asses.
That's very
but
likely.
I think Joe.
Yeah.
I think Joe, because my thought process is the way things are going to happen. I think Joe, if he wins this, Joe can instantly go into world title contention, which will make way more sense when we talk about that. So, Leon, what do you think, Cole or Joe?
I still think it's going to be Cole.
You think it's going to be Cole?
Do you know if they've ever fought? Cole and Joe?
Huh?
Have Cole and Joe ever fought? Do you know?
I don't know, but I'd imagine ROH at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? And I think they cross paths in NXT, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure they did there as well.
I do think this one could go either way. I do think this one could go either way.
I just got a feeling that this one was going to be some Undisputed Elite fuckery at the end. I get what you guys are saying. It's just a good feeling on my part.
Well, the other thing is if we talk about the next match, which is the female one, you have Toni Storm or Britt Baker against Soho or Statlander. I think we can all pretty clearly see it's going to be Baker against Soho.
God, I hope so. That would be amazing.
I don't know, the way they've been building Stat, I could see it be Britt and Stat.
I don't think so. I think you have to give. I think you have to give Soho something.
Yeah.
Like my initial thought process was Soho's going to win this because they have not done the best with her.
Right.
So I think she's going to beat Stat, and I don't think Stat needs that. You have a good point though. They're trying to do something with her, but I just think it's going to be Baker and Soho.
Honestly, at this point, it's a little bit off, but I think she might be the one to finally knock off Jade.
But we also have to think that Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just saying, like her size and athleticism, like she can actually match up with Jade, and she can wrestle too. So I don't know, just the way they've taken her away from best friends. She's not really doing the boop boop thing anymore or anything. A little bit more serious, harder edge to her, and showing off her athleticism and her physique and size and all that. Like, I don't know, just getting this hunch that they could be pushing her up towards being a major threat and possibly knocking off Jade.
They have absolutely revamped the best friends, like completely. I don't even know if the best wings are a thing anymore.
I think it's just OC and Trent at this point. Not Trent.
Taylor,
the other guy,
Chuck Taylor.
Yeah.
Chuck, yeah. I'm
just curious because Orange Cassidy obviously has hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
When does he come back? How does he come back? I only care because I'm an Orange Cassidy mark. But the thing that I think about for this Owen Hart tournament is if you have Adam Cole win and Britt Baker win, how insufferable would they be as heels?
Oh, God.
The celebration that they could have?
Yes, that's a very, very good point.
One thing that I am noticing very clearly when I watch Dynamite, they never, ever, ever, ever should have taken that belt off of Britt Baker. It was stupid. No knock on Thunder Rosa. I like Thunder Rosa. Baker was a better champion. They did more with Baker. They should have kept going. She wasn't losing momentum. She was still going. They should have not taken that belt off of Baker. My opinion.
I agree with you that Baker was still at fire, and they were still doing things with her. I think they've dropped the ball with Thunder Rosa. I think her winning that title the way that she did in her home state, like that was a big deal. Like that pop was just massive. But then she kind of just went away for a while, and then all of a sudden she's like, I want to fight. I don't remember who she fought after that, but like it was lackluster.
Yeah, let's actually move on because that's our next match: Thunder Rosa against Serena Deeb for the AEW Women's Championship. They have dropped the ball with Thunder Rosa, in a big, big way. And part of me wants there's a part of me that's like, Serena Deeb should win this belt. Because Serena Deeb
hasn't she been like NWA champ too?
Yeah, Serena Deeb has been fucking killing it. She's been fucking killing it. Will they do that? No. Would it be the smartest thing to do for Thunder Rosa? No. But they've got to do, like, there is a problem in this company. Like, a serious problem of when somebody gets the belt, they don't know what to do.
They're much better at booking the chase than they are
They cannot book a champion. They can't book, like Hangman Adam Page, his title reign's been shit. And Thunder Rosa, her title reign was shit. And it's almost like they can't book a babyface champion. Like Moxley.
Yeah, they can definitely book that babyface chasing the evil heel, but as far as a heel being on top,
had a good run. Moxley had a good run as champion, but Moxley wasn't really a face.
He's always had that tweener thing. Yeah, he's always had that tweener thing.
Because Kenny Omega's reign was good, Britt Baker's reign was good, but when they get these faces, it's just like they don't know how to. They keep trying the same thing. They put the same people up against them. Oh, you won the championship? Oh, you're a female? Okay, you're the women's champion. All right, here's Nyla Rose. Oh, you're a guy and you won a championship? Oh, here's the murder bird. Fight the murder bird. That's what they do. They get the same.
Yeah.
They get the same feuds. It's like what the fuck?
Although,
shit, dude, Thunder Rosa even mentioned that about the whole Nyla Rose thing.
Yeah.
Like every fucking female champion, like she's right there first. Like
they have done well with the tag team championships, though. I think, and
because Jungle, I've lost my Jungle Express has been. They've been in good matches, but what are they doing? I feel like this tag team title reign. Should we just jump to this match and stop talking about this one? I think Thunder Rosa's going to win before we move on. I think Thunder Rosa's got to win.
I think it makes sense to have Thunder Rosa win. It's my understanding that Serena Deeb is a producer at this point.
She's both.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like she's trying to. I feel like she understands where her stock is right now, and I think she's putting herself in the ring with Thunder Rosa to up Thunder Rosa's stock. I hope it works, because Serena Deeb can go, Thunder Rosa can go. I just don't think the build-up was there.
I don't think it'll be a bad match. Like,
right.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Just like I said, I think they dropped the ball on Thunder. You agree with us, Leon, that Thunder Rosa wins this match?
Probably.
I want to back up a little bit, because
Did you guys catch that? Did you guys catch that segment? I want to say on Rampage with Serena and Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
That was Dynamite.
Was that Dynamite?
That segment was fire, man. It was kind of weird, but it was fire. What do you want to back up?
So the Owen Hart Tournament, I think it's going to be Baker and Soho, and I think part of the reason, because if you remember, it was supposed to be, in theory, Ruby Soho versus Hikaru Shida, but Shida was she wasn't medically cleared, and then there was this whole drama. If that whole thing is a work, you then have Chris Statlander against Hikaru Shida, which raises Statlander's stock, and then you have Ruby Soho and Britt Baker. I don't know what they're planning on doing with Toni Storm, but I could definitely see them going that way. That was it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would think that. I think it's Baker and Soho. Tag team championships: Jungle Express against Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs against Keith Lee and Swerve.
I am super excited about this.
It is time for Christian to turn on Jungle Boy.
Yeah, you've kind of caught little.
It is time.
Little hints of him healing it up when he's talking for them.
And it needs to be who
just
wins.
Little dicks.
I don't see Team Taz winning this match.
No, maybe.
I think there's a possibility, but I don't necessarily. This is not the tag team match that I wanted.
What did you want?
I wanted FTR. I want FTR somehow involved in this. Because those tag team belts need to be on FTR. Because FTR is the best tag team in the world, and you can't even argue right now.
Yeah, but they already have. Don't they have the AAA?
And the ROH, but I don't care. They should have all three. They should be the best team. They're that fucking good.
Yeah, no, I thought that too, but like,
Aren't they
You have
aiming
to-
for the IWGP as well?
Yeah, just give them it all. Let them be belt collectors. But I understand at the same time. We're gonna have them focus on the ROH belts and their own stuff. But I just feel like if you want to make your main titles mean the most, here's FTR. Now, if FTR fought Jungle Express and they had this wild match and then FTR won, just like a close match, clean, fair match, FTR wins, they celebrate, and then Christian comes out and takes out Jungle Boy. That makes sense to me. And it could be one of those things where, like, we fought hard, they were tough, blah, blah, blah. Christian's like, yeah. Then he takes out Jungle Boy. Like, I
almost wonder if they're holding the ROH... I almost wonder if they're holding FTR above the tag team championships. And I say that because they have the ROH championships. Pretty sure they have the AAA championships. Like, why don't they have those guys? They have the Young Bucks, and they have there's a third team that I'm blanking on, but like I guess the Hardys. Like, you have these teams who are really top tier who are not going for the tag team titles. But you know that their matches are going to be awesome. So, like, you're going to tune in because the Young Bucks are fighting the Hardys. Why wouldn't you? And then that gives the teams like Jungle Express, Team Taz, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland, gives them something to fight for. Where they're not
tag belts. Do you put
quite
the tag belts on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, who aren't even a real team?
Oh God, I would love that.
We're just gonna start throwing random teams together and putting the belt on them because we see how that works.
Okay, but again, like, AEW can pull it off. Like, AEW put this team together, and they even mentioned on Dynamite that it was like an ad hoc team. Like, they put them together at the last moment, and they broke through to the top 5. Like, that's kind of a big deal. I don't think they're going to walk away with it, but I think it would be cool because I like that team.
Leon, what are you trying to say?
I guess from what I've read, those two have been a team, like, not so much in AEW, but they have teamed together a lot in the past.
Okay,
that's why they fit together so well. Like that ridiculous ass finish that they use. That's not the first time that they've used that. They get a bunch of double team maneuvers that are, well, between the ridiculous strength of Lee and the otherworldly athleticism of Swerve, like, they pull off some ridiculous shit, and then they can both fucking talk. So I don't know. I could really see them going with those two for right now.
And that might be what they do.
I think Jungle Express has pretty much run its course at this point, and just wait. They're just kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for Christian to turn on them and them to lose.
I wonder if Christian convinces Luchasaurus to turn on him. Like, I wonder if they out Jungle Boy, and then they push Jungle Boy towards the AEW World Title. Push him towards the ROH.
I imagine they're gonna move Jungle Boy to the TNT title.
Sure. Yeah.
I think you have him feud with Christian, and then you put that TNT belt on him.
Mm-hmm.
You let him go, and then you lift him up. I still say the watershed moment of this company is going to be when Jungle Boy wins the championship, because that's been their go-to guy since day one.
Yeah.
I think he's money. I think he's likable guy. His promos aren't the best, but they're getting better. Like, he's a likable guy. Like, he's a guy, every time you see him, he's such a good fucking worker. And he's got the name, he's got the noticeability. So I think he's the guy. I think that's a watershed moment. But I agree, this tag team it's totally run its course. I don't see.
I mean, I could see Jungle Express, Lucha and Jungle Boy remaining a thing, but yeah, I don't know which end of the divorce that Luchasaurus ends up on, but I feel like the Christian connection is definitely coming to an end with that, and him costing them the titles is definitely a shake up way of doing it.
I just think if you're gonna turn Luchasaurus on Jungle Boy, now is not the time to do it.
Yeah,
I think you have Christian do it, because otherwise, then you got to have him fight two guys. I think you save that. I think you give Jungle Boy the rub. You have him on the TNT belt. You have Luchasaurus be there the whole time, like he's his Andre the Giant. And then after he wins that belt, the world championship, that's when fucking Luchasaurus does the turn because it's going to mean more. You know, you got built up this whole time. You got all this attention. Here I am standing behind you, supporting you, helping you the whole way. Nobody ever gave a shit about me. Boom. I want the belt. I'm going to take what you have. And that could be a money match. They just have to really, and they have. I mean,
after Jungle Boy runs with it for a while.
Yeah.
I could definitely. Okay, I was misunderstanding you. I thought you were saying like right after he wins it, he turns on him.
No. That couldn't be a feeder.
I got you now.
That would have to be a little bit down the road, but you just kind of have him come in and then you just maybe show some cracks in the thing that's going on or something like that. But you have him turn. Literally what they did with Hogan and Andre. Literally what they did with Hogan and Andre.
All this time you've had this and you haven't given me a shot.
Yeah, just like that. That's literally it though. That to me would be, because I think that's a money match anyways, because those two spend so much time together, they've been working together for so long. I'm sure if they actually had a match against each other, it'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They know each other inside and out, their timing, all that. So, yeah, I could definitely see them having a banger.
Do you have any idea who's actually winning this match?
I mean, the way we're talking about it, I feel like unless they're gonna draw out the Christian thing a little longer, you got to give it to Team Taz.
Yeah, you know, while I was thinking Keith and Swerve, as you were saying that, I'm like, if he's going to turn on them, he's gonna do it so that the heels end up winning, so it's got a bigger impact. I'm with you.
Does he turn in the match? Or does he turn after the match and say, then they lose fair and say you guys are losers?
Yeah, I think it's that.
I think it is too. That's why I think of the three, I think Team Taz makes the most sense.
And I mean, the other thing is that like once you get once you move the titles to Team Taz, you have a built-in. Match down the road between Team Taz and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland because they have this history already. Whereas if you put it on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, they can just be like, well, we finally beat you guys. And they, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Team Taz to chase after them anymore.
I think Jungle Boy has to get pinned. It's as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
I think as weird as that sounds, I think he has to get pinned and then Christian has to blame him for the loss.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this. I think that match has a lot of potential, as much as I wish FTR was in it. Moving on, Anarchy in the Arena match.
I love that he took the name.
I hope to God that this match starts out in the Jericho Appreciation Society, tries to make it some weird sports entertainment match, and then they just get the fucking shit beat out of them by these guys. I want to see them all die.
Yeah,
I just loved Moxley. Yeah, I'm not doing that shit.
I think this will be. I think the Jericho Appreciation Society is going to win this match. Because
sure?
I think what they are trying to do, and if they were smart, this is what they would do, is they're trying to get Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz positioned off against the Blackpool Combat Club. Just have those six guys beat the shit out of each other, because that match would be fantastic to see.
Yeah. Sure. Like, the only problem I see there is, like, what do you do with Jericho, the Jericho Appreciation Society? I guess really anything. Yeah.
Yeah, they can do it. Like, that's the beauty of them, though, is they can easily fall into something else. But I guess the one thing would be there be no comeuppance for Eddie Kingston getting his face burnt by Chris Jericho, who is a wizard, mind you.
That motherfucker's gonna get that over now.
He gets everything over. Pops already said that.
Ridiculous.
Because I'm a wizard. That's just like, yes, you are.
When
Logic. I'm a wizard.
When he first came out as the Wizard, and Schiavone was like, "Are we gonna call him the Wizard now?" And Excalibur was like, "Yeah, it was a whole thing on Friday. Don't worry about it." It was just, I love him. I love Excalibur so much.
This match will be fun, but there's the.
See,
I kind
of disagree with you guys on the whole them facing off Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz of Blackpool Combat Club, because right when Jericho Appreciation Society came together, I was like, it just felt like it felt like a natural feud for them to be going against Blackpool Combat Club, the whole pro wrestler versus sports entertainer thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that they'll just.
One of the important things right now is that they're getting a trios title. So they're trying to get all these good trios teams together.
Yeah.
Are they finally gonna? They've been rumoring that for fucking like a year and a half.
The rumor is when Kenny Omega comes back, they are going to do it. And when Kenny Omega comes back, the only thing that I want to see is Cole and Red Dragon against the Bucks and Omega.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Because that already is just like, that's an erection, man. That's how good that is.
That's like they're going to build that.
Yeah, that won't be instantaneous.
I mean, you got those two teams. You got like 3 teams in this match we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got
House of Black, Death Triangle.
Yeah, 2 teams in the next match. Like,
yeah,
there's trios all over this company right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever Orange Cassidy gets paired with. What if Orange Cassidy got paired with like 2 dancing bears?
I say Orange Cassidy with Hookhausen.
That'd be oh my God.
I would love that. I would love that so much.
I think Hook. I don't think you keep Hookhausen around that long. I think you pull out Danhausen away from him because I don't think Hook needs him, and I don't think Danhausen needs him. I think they'll overshadow one another. I think there needs to be.
I think they'll complement each other well
for a little bit, not for a long time.
Yeah, maybe not long term. I would agree. I think it would be good for a few months. I think Hookhausen would be cool for a couple of months, at the very least. I don't know when Orange Cassidy is coming back.
And Danhausen would be fine always.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like milk and an Oreo cookie. The 2 greatest things ever. This Anarchy in the Arena match, I don't know. I just feel like it's too obvious for Kingston and those guys to win. I feel like Jericho's somehow going to pull that off.
I think
because if the sports entertainers come out, they get the shit beat out of them and they lose cleanly, you don't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
And if they win, the heat's there and they can do a little more.
That was what I was thinking when you first said that. I was like, no, and then I was like, yeah, but like, if Kingston goes over Jericho, what do you do with Jericho then? He's put all of this time and energy in the Jericho Appreciation Society. You can't do anything with it then because they've gotten all of their credibility sort of like pulled out from under them.
And if they win, think about it.
Exactly.
Sports entertainers are clearly superior in the shit they can do.
Right.
But that's why I think there's going to be riffraff between Kingston and those guys in the Blackpool Combat Club. Because how else do you do it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be Kingston getting pinned, or Santana or Ortiz. They are not pinning Moxley, and they are not pinning Bryan. There's no fucking way they're pinning those 2. There's no fucking way.
They almost have more of a story if they have Kingston, because they keep playing this Kingston's they keep playing Kingston's insecurities, and I think that's him. I think he's pushing for that, and so I think if he gets pinned by Jericho, I think he just goes fucking batshit. That could happen too, like where he just goes on his own and he's just like fuck all of y'all.
I don't think it's going to be in Leon.
And he flips on Santana, Ortiz, and everybody.
No, I don't think that happens. I think Santana and Ortiz he stays with, but no, I don't think they're going to have like an end of the match thing where they have like a fight. I think it's going to be at the end. I think it's going to be one of those where they're like, Kingston, you fucking lost. What the fuck? This is your fault. Then he'll get pissed. Then he'll fight with him. Because to me, that's a great feud. The only problem is with that is then you have not finished Jericho versus Kingston.
Yeah.
So do you abandon that for them against the Blackpool?
Give it a year. Like Eddie Kingston, even by himself could if he went rogue. And he starts like fighting with Santana and Ortiz, and Santana and Ortiz are like, no, dude, you gotta calm down. Like they're trying to keep it together. And in the meantime, they're trying to fight off the Blackpool. So like you can put these 2 trios together and like just let Eddie Kingston be crazy for like a year. And he's just fixated on Jericho beating him.
I feel like Eddie Kingston is like one really good thing away.
Absolutely.
From being the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's one good thing away because the fans love the fucking guy. He's got the attitude. There's just like, there's that one little thing that's missing, and I don't know what it is. And like, we're right there, and it's not something he doesn't have. It's something that he hasn't done, if that makes sense.
I think it's a long-term booking thing. Yeah. I think if you put him in a long-term program with somebody, I think that's how you do it. That's just me, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, like, they had a thing with Moxley, and that was cool, but, like, it turned into a friendship, and that's not quite the same thing. That doesn't,
if
like,
they would have actually gotten
way.
blown up at that pay-per-view,
mm-hmm.
or they didn't get blown up, where they just had some Roman candles go off, if they would have actually got blown up, and Kingston would have done that, he would have been like a fucking god.
Yeah.
That would have been the moment where it was like, that's the fucking guy. But, yeah. Moving on, House of Black versus Death Triangle.
I mean, I'm sort of excited about this. I think Death Triangle.
I think,
but maybe not. Like,
yeah, this match should just be fucking insane.
Maybe it goes to a no contest.
It should be insane, but at the same time, I feel like there's been a lot of weird gaps in this whole thing, and there's been a lot of weird shit.
I think, injuries have kind of hampered it.
And I just feel like
it's been simmering for some time.
And I think it's not where it needs to be. Like, injuries have really hampered it. What about who's the cheerleader girl? Hart is her last name. What's her first name?
Julia
Hart. You think she'll get involved in joining House of Black?
I mean,
she has to, right? Because
I just don't see how she would cost Death Triangle, though.
she doesn't really factor in with, unless she just kind of shows up, like the lights go out and at the end of the match.
Unless those two get involved or something, but I think the House of Black wins this. I think House of Black needs this win more.
Yeah.
Than the Death Triangle,
That's true.
I think House of Black has a higher ceiling than the Death Triangle.
Yep.
You know what the Death Triangle is, and you know where it's going to be in their upper mid card. They're good. They're never going to be like top level guys. Whereas opposed to House of Black, if that thing went right, there's no reason Malachi Black couldn't be the world champion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As opposed to, I don't think Pac's going to be world champion, and I love Pac. I really do, but I can't see him being the champion.
I don't know. I think Pac could be, but I don't think this is the program that does that.
No, I think you'd have to do a lot with Pac to get him there.
Yeah.
But I think, whereas opposed to Malachi, I don't think Malachi is hard to get there.
No.
That's just my opinion.
He's got...
Pac's whole thing has been like, he's just angry and wants to hurt people. It's never been really championship focused in AEW.
Well, now remember Double or Nothing a year ago. The greatest main event in the history of mankind.
Refresh my memory.
Kenny Omega versus Pac versus the greatest wrestler alive, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
When fucking Don Callis fucked Orange Cassidy out of the win when he had Kenny Omega beat, I've never seen the crowd turn on a guy so much. That was the most angry I think I've ever seen the crowd in my life. I was angry too, though. I wanted to stab him, but I didn't.
Clearly.
Yeah. No. I don't know. I just think House of Black. I think House of Black needs this. I think they're, like I said, higher ceiling guys.
But they also have the momentum right now.
Yeah.
And I think they don't have as much. The feud between House of Black and Death Triangle doesn't mean as much. I don't know if that's quite the right wording, but like it's not. It doesn't have the same cachet as
I think House of Black needs to get away from Death Triangle, and I think they both need a little bit better direction in what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because those injuries have slowed this to a crawl, and it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, that's the same thing I think that's going on with Jungle Express. Is we know what's going to happen. Let's just fucking do it. We've been dragging our feet.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. The Hardy Boys against the Young Bucks.
I don't even care who wins.
Leon,
I think it's going to be an awesome
opinion
match.
on this one?
It should be fun. Yeah. Approximately 10,000 super kicks.
Evenly distributed between all four, obviously.
Jeff Hardy might die because that's what he does best.
Yes, seriously. Good God.
What the fuck? What the fuck are they going to do on the show with Darby Allin and Sting? Nothing? They're going to have a pay-per-view without Darby Allin and Sting.
So it would seem. I think...
Or do they get involved in this? Because Red Dragon's also not on this card.
Yeah.
So does Red Dragon get involved, and then Sting and... that must be what they're going to do.
Could be. Yeah.
I could see that happening.
Or maybe there's room for another match in here where they put those four together.
This card's pretty fucking packed.
Yeah, but I mean, your pre-show is only
a lot
one
going
match.
on here.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the same thing. I think, I have an opinion about this match.
What's your opinion of this match?
I think the Hardy Boys are going to win this match. And I think they're going to win this match because of Red Dragon. And I think Red Dragon and the Bucks are going to be out there. And they're going to be fighting. And Adam Cole's going to come out, and he's going to decide to team with Red Dragon. And they're going to start pounding on the Young Bucks. And Kenny fucking Omega's going to come out and save them. Because that fucking writes itself.
Yeah.
That is what I think is going to happen.
I could see that.
Is he right physically now?
The rumor is that he's close. So he doesn't have to even be 100% because he doesn't need to wrestle. He just needs to come out, and just him running out, those guys could just hit the powder and leave, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
I think that's what you build to, because I think if you do a trios tournament, that is the final. You know? Yeah, that's my opinion of that match.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Hop on that would be ridiculous, even though he left as a dastardly heel. Everybody loves the person coming back, right?
And the Bucks have been turning to some extent. Yeah.
Really, really slowly.
Yeah.
I hope they don't change their style of dress, though, because it's probably my favorite thing on the show.
They won't.
Dear God.
They're so fucking amazing. Leon, I know you hate them, but God, I fucking love the Young Bucks. I fucking love the Young Bucks. I love the way they dress. That time he had the chain from his ear to his nose and shit. Like, I love that.
He's done that a bunch.
It's just like, look at me. I'm so cool. I don't even know. He looks like an absolute fucking dork.
He does.
I truly enjoyed Jeff Hardy's little fake Christian AF dig at him. I was like, coming out their shit. I like it.
Good. Moving on.
Make me happy.
Moving on to a match that is the best built thing in this whole fucking company, hands down. They haven't.
Well, I mean, it's literally been built since day one.
MJF versus Wardlow. So, I had an initial thought on this match of MJF is somehow going to win this fucking match. And I don't have that thought anymore, because if MJF wins, Wardlow can never sign a contract with AEW. Wardlow has to win. Wardlow has to win. Like, he has to win, because they follow through on these contracts. If he can't sign a contract with AEW, he can't work in AEW. Like, they will follow it because they have to do it.
Yeah, they're not going to put him in fucking ROH. So
no, I think Wardlow's winning this match.
Oh yeah,
I really do. And then the more I think about it, the more I think, like, watching Dynamite last week and everything, like, Wardlow has to win this fucking match. Like, he has to win this fucking match. And I don't see any way. Like, I initially thought MJF by some kind of weird trickery shit, but I just don't see it now, especially when they say if Wardlow loses, he can never sign a contract in AEW. Like, that's just like the Cody Rhodes thing, where if he loses this match, he can never fight for the title. They follow their stipulations.
Yeah,
they're not going to go back on a stipulation.
Yeah, they don't just throw it away, which is nice. I like it.
That's why I think that Wardlow is going to win, unless they're trading him to the WWE, which I can't see them happening.
So,
like, WWE wasn't even interested in him.
Oh, they would be right now. They fucking would be right now.
Have you ever heard any of his interview stuff and everything?
Yeah, I have.
He was super critical of them, like talking about how they didn't really want wrestling fans or anything. They just wanted big athletes who could do stuff, not people who love the business. And I was like, huh.
And now,
Interesting how that works out.
And now they would sign him in like 3 seconds. Because that's the biggest star that's been made in the business probably in the past 3 years. But whatever. Next to Orange Cassidy, obviously.
Next, yes.
Hangman Page.
True. But Bud has a thought. Bud, what's your thought?
I do. This is, and actually, I think maybe the last match that we were just talking about sort of leads into this. So my theory is that they are setting up MJF and CM Punk again, as well as Hangman Page and Omega. And I think Page and Omega go at Forbidden Door. And my thought, so here's what I think. I think that you could absolutely have the blowout with the Young Bucks and the Hardys and Red Dragon, the match before, and MJF, you could have MJF beat Wardlow. And then when you have the AEW World Championship, CM Punk is about to win, MJF comes out, and then you see Wardlow come out. Wardlow turns on Punk. Turns out Wardlow was in on it the whole time. And they're all a happy family. And then you've set up MJF and CM Punk again. And then you end the night with Page is still champion, and then Omega's music hits. And Omega comes out. Because you start with...
My only question to you for that one is, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, but...
Of course.
How stupid would you be to build a babyface like Wardlow and then just turn him? That makes no sense.
I don't know that it makes no sense.
Because you've spent all this time building him, and he might be their biggest babyface. Like, legitimately might be their biggest babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that whole thing just to use him as a pawn in that? Like, that is such a Vince McMahon.
I don't know that would make him a pawn, though. If you booked it right, which AEW has a track record of booking these things better than WWE does, I think if you booked it right, Wardlow is still the guy. It's just that he's also working with MJF, and that makes him a bigger heel. Like, if you turn him that quickly, if you have him take all of this shit from MJF, and then you turn him against Punk, like, how big of a heel are you at that point? Like, huge.
The only problem I see with that is if you're going to go from, like, the lackey bodyguard who's treated like shit to the babyface that's still held down by the guy that everybody wants to see him kick his ass, and then you lose, and then you decide to go back with him. I don't know if you look like a heel or you just look stupid.
He just looks completely neutered at that point.
Like, that's my only issue with that. I don't think that does. I think that would be great for MJF, and that would be great for CM Punk, but then you're completely cannibalizing a guy that has just totally he's the biggest star of the year. Like, this is Wardlow. Like, right now, he's the guy. Like, he's their top guy. Like, he's that guy that's like, boom, I'm on the trajectory. So, like, I don't know why you would waste that, because that would be like during the Yes movement when Daniel Bryan got hot. If you, like, handed him the belt and then, like, took it away from him a minute later. Oh wait, they did that. Never mind. And that didn't work. That's how that feels, though. You know what I mean? Like, you're giving us part of what we want, but then you're just taking it away right away. Like, you're dangling this carrot and being like, haha, fuckers, you don't get this. And I don't think they're gonna do that. I think.
But what do you do with Wardlow after you get him away from MJF?
You find something better for him to do. And that's my opinion on what they do.
But, like, that's the thing, is, like, he doesn't have anything set up on the other side.
I agree with you on that, but how hard would it be to set something up for him? Give him the FTW title. Have him have him fucking destroy Ricky Starks. Have him defend the belt every week and fucking murk people. That's easy. Like, Wardlow's easy. I think he's one of the easiest guys to book. Go out there, beat the shit out of somebody, come back. Like, you don't have to do a lot with him. And I don't think MJF losing that hurts
No, of course not. No.
I think the other part of that, though, is if Wardlow just joins MJF, then you've completely made a stipulation you had for a match mean nothing.
It is true.
And I just can't see him doing that. Because I was on the fence. I initially thought there's no way Wardlow's going to win this match. They need to draw this out a little bit and have MJF somehow win and then be like, I still own your contract. Then I thought they maybe run it for a little longer, then have Wardlow finally break free. But when they say that, hey, if he loses this match, he cannot sign a contract with AEW, that pretty much cements this thing. Like, what are they going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They kind of have to follow through on it. Because he's got so much momentum right now. And I don't know why you would just shit on that. I get your thought process of that would be a really heel move. But I just can't. It
feels like a swerve for the sake of a swerve to me.
Yeah, that's good, but Leon, that's a good way to put that. Feels like a swerve for the sake of a swerve, which I can't see them doing. I just can't. It just doesn't go with what they've done. It just wouldn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
I don't think.
Then what do we think of this actual match then?
I think Wardlow has to win.
Yeah.
I think Wardlow's going to win. I think that's what it's going to be. I think the point though is what do you do with MJF? But MJF is pretty much, what if this match happens and he has, what's his face? I forgot the guy's name. His lackey.
Shawn Spears?
Yeah, Shawn Spears. I can't believe I forgot Shawn Spears' name. What if Shawn Spears comes out, tries to interfere, fucks up, causes MJF the match?
Yeah.
And then MJF can be like, well, what the fuck, Shawn? Yell at him a little bit. And then kind of be like, hey, I want a rematch with Wardlow because Shawn Spears fucked me over, blah, blah, blah. So they can still continue that on.
Yeah.
And then you could have him do another match, and then MJF could cheat. And then you could do the rubber match and have Wardlow go over. That's very possible.
Yeah.
I just can't see them having him lose and then turning heel and just moving back into the role of being MJF's lackey. Because that's what he would have to be. Like, that's their dynamic. Mm-hmm. He could not be his lackey. He would still just be MJF's lackey.
This is about the best thing that he's done in ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's hot. He's really hot, and they have to figure out a way to ride that. Okay. The thing is...
But answer me this. Forget Wardlow. Do you put MJF, because they've been teasing it. MJF has been doing some of CM Punk's stuff the last couple of weeks. Do you put MJF back with CM Punk? Whether Punk has the title or not after this.
What'd he do?
Yeah, when they were in Long Island, he was doing some of Punk's stuff from when he's in Chicago. Oh, really? He does it where he goes up into the by the people and he has his arms outspread like this, and the people are patting his chest, and he's like.
I don't think there's a time frame on when those two can get back together. I think those two can go back together at any time.
Yeah.
And I think,
I suppose if you put the title on Punk, the thing to do is to make MJF work for it, because then that stretches it out longer.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next match then, and we can talk about that, and then we can talk about what I was about to talk about there. Hangman Page versus CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Leon, who you got?
Fuck. I mean, I think it's going to be Punk at this point.
I think it has to be. I think it has to be Punk. I think...
As much as I love Hangman and as strongly as I've been behind him, I just feel like this is going to be Punk at this point.
I think he's their most bankable star, and I think he's having the best matches. And I think Hangman needs to turn heel. And I think that's might be what happens. I don't know. But I do think Punk is going to win this match. Because I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with Hangman after this match. At all. Well, I have no idea.
I feel like with Hangman it'll just be the usual, the next Dynamite. Somebody comes out and interrupts his victory celebration and says, "I want that." And then we're on to the next one, and that just feels like repetitive.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I think, and we've talked about this earlier, that his booking as a babyface champion has been sort of lackluster. Like, he had a bunch of build for the Murder Bird. And then his other matches after that sort of have been, like, they've been great matches, but not a lot of build to them.
No,
and so I think it looks like...
I think the crowd's starting to turn on him, too. I think that's the other piece of this is, especially like in the Adam Cole thing, like the crowd started to... They're tiring of him a little, and that might simply be because he's been booked so bad.
If they've been booking this, if they've been booking Paige deliberately against these people, then you have to look at that. I look at that and think that they're trying to legitimize Paige even more, that he can beat all of these guys. He can beat Adam Cole. He can beat Diane Branielson. He can beat the Murder Bird. Like, he has this pedigree, and then perhaps he wins this match against Punk, and he has one more check mark, so to speak. And then you bring out Omega, like, the one guy who he spent so long comparing himself to and thinking that he wasn't good enough. He comes back, and he's in better shape than he's ever been. And Omega says, I want that title. And I think, like, if you put that match together...
I just don't think that's... I just don't see that, because when Omega left, they set up Omega Cole. They set that whole thing up back then. When he left and he said, hey, you guys got this, and Adam Cole was like, no, yeah, we got everything here. We're good. And then Omega said, no, I'm talking to the Bucks, not you.
Yeah.
They set that whole thing up. Like, this has been... He's coming back for that. And then if you look at what's going on with Red Dragon and the Young Bucks, they're clearly setting this up for that. I just don't think you... I don't think you go back to Paige Omega yet. I think it's too early, and I think... I don't know. I just don't think...
I mean, the flip side to that,
I think if you were going to do that, you would want Kenny Omega to be a heel.
I don't think so.
You would want Hangman to be a face.
If you take what we were just saying, that Paige turns heel, I think Paige as a heel and Omega as a face makes a lot of sense.
I just don't see them... I think the bigger story that they're trying to tell is the feud between Cole and Paige, in the fact that Paige wants... No, not Paige. I'm getting lost here. Between Omega and Cole. That's what I meant. Between Omega and Cole, the story was, Adam Cole came back and he was supposed to be dead because he got killed on being the Elite, and they were going to build a story off of that. And I really think that's what they're going to do. I think that's the feud, and I think that's something new. I think that's something different. I think if you go back to Hangman Omega, you're telling a story we've already told. Because we've already told the story about Hangman getting so close, never being able to do it, and then finally climbing the mountain, winning the belt. I think if he loses this, he can be moved into a disgruntled mode of, I gave you everything and you fucking people booed me and no one gave a shit about me. And I could see him doing that. It just kind of all depends on where you go with him. I don't know. I don't think you beat CM Punk. I just don't, because CM Punk is the guy. He's the fucking guy right now. He's their biggest star.
Yeah, but he hasn't had the title though, and he's still the guy. Like, he doesn't need the title. I think
you're going to elevate the title. I think he's the guy. I think he's got to win this.
I think the match between these two has been sort of like half built.
Stop talking to cats, Leon.
Like, if you look at the build between Punk and MJF,
it would be rude to ignore her.
I think Punk
she was
knows how
talking to me.
Leon, stop interfering with Bud.
Sorry, bud.
Punk. I think Punk has had some really well-built matches, and this doesn't feel as well-built as other matches.
No,
and I think
that's been everything with Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, but
that's been everything. And the story here is that Punk is on fire and should be the I just
don't think he has to be.
I don't think he has to be either, but I think if he is, I think it makes perfect sense. I think he's the guy. I think he's the guy right now that you say, okay, give this fucking guy the belt and let him go, because he's clearly the guy that's going to have. If Punk's the champion, we're not going to have these half-assed ideas around the belt. You know, we're going to have full-on angles.
I mean, that's kind of like that's a whole other thing. I disagree with you, but we should probably move on because we only have 10 minutes left.
I just think Punk is. I just think it's time for Punk to win this match. I think they dropped the ball with Hangman, and I think if you put Punk in that spot, I think you're going to have more options. Because what do you do? What do you do with Hangman?
I mean, what do you do with Hangman otherwise?
You're going to do the same thing either way. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, you're going to have him go on, like, some kind of bitter, or he just comes out and says, I fucking lost, I got beaten, I'm going to climb my way back up. And he starts climbing his fucking way back up. And that would work, too. I mean, it doesn't have to be super complicated with what you do with him. I think it's time. I just think it's time. Not every title reign in this company has to be a year. You know what I mean?
No, of course not.
I just think it's time. I don't think he needs to lose it in November or December like they always do. I think he's going to lose it in May. I think it's just time. And if that's what happens, if he loses, I'm just going to tell you I told you so.
I still think Page is gonna. I think Page and Omega for the title is the way he's gonna lose it. That's what I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna put that belt back on Page right away. They're not gonna fight it. There's no way they're gonna fight it Forbidden Door.
No, probably not.
You said that's what you said. They're gonna fight it Forbidden Door. I'm like, who the fuck would they fight it Forbidden Door? They could fight anytime.
Yeah.
It's gonna be AEW versus, all those guys. Yeah.
All those guys.
Yeah, I like that we got really critical about this one. Leon, do you agree with me or Bud?
I agree with you. It's gonna be Punk.
Okay. 2 against 1, Bud. Ha ha ha.
And
then I get to say I told you so twice if you guys are wrong.
Kind of more of a how do you say, a full circle thing. Punk winning the title where his whole big stomp into relevance happened here in Vegas is kind of fitting for them.
Pipe bomb.
They like that kind of shit that makes sense because he did the pipe bomb here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
That'll be.
So I think it's definitely see that happening.
I think it's going to be a good match. I really do. What do we think the match?
Yeah, with those.
What do we think the match of the night is going to be?
I just want to point out that you could say the same thing between Page and Omega, and it's a bigger circle, and it's all in AEW. And that's the last I'll say about it, and we can move on.
Omega, I just think Omega's got to deal with Cole. I think that's what they're setting it up to do. I really do.
I just want to point out that I've tried to end this like 3 times, and you keep coming back to it. It's not me.
You just fucking said it, but fuck you. I just think it's set up for. I just think they set it up with that thing. I think it's going to be Omega. I think Red Dragon's going to turn on those guys and he's going to save the day. And I think that's a money match.
You can still do that, and also set up Page and Omega. You can do both things.
Oh.
Okay, that was Leon disagreeing with you, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I think once he gets back, like Tom was saying earlier, that it's good that his focus is going to be the trio thing, with that whole ready-made feud between. Fuck, what do they call Kenny and the Bucks? Is it just the Elite?
Yeah.
Undisputed Elite, whatever. Yeah, with the Elite versus fucking the Undisputed guys. I think that'll lead right into the trios thing. It just makes more sense than him trying to do the world title thing right away again. At least in my head.
I just can't see him wanting to come back and go right back into that because I don't think that's all Omega thinks, but I don't know. We'll see. Match of the night. What do we think?
Good Lord.
Hookhausen versus Neeson, Mark Sterling, obviously.
No, I think the tag team championship is that's gonna kill. I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's the one I'm most excited about. Obviously, other than Hookhausen and Nice, but I don't have to pay for that one.
Yeah, that one doesn't count.
Yeah.
I might agree with you because of all the people in that match.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Anarchy in the Arena match too is pretty good, but I think that one will be almost too chaotic.
Yeah, there's going to be too much shit going on in that one.
Yeah.
Although
I'm going to go House of Black versus Death Triangle.
It has the potential.
I think the two Owen Hart tournament matches are going to be pretty off the wall too.
So do I.
Assuming that we are right as to who's going to win.
I think either way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at any way that like any of those four women put together like that will be totally fine.
Yeah.
They'll all put on a good match. I just can't see them not having Baker on the pay-per-view. It just doesn't make sense. And same thing with Ruby. But Chris Statlander could cheat and beat Ruby Soho or something. Like, you never know.
That's true.
You never know. Yeah, so other than...
They have been kind of changing their character, yeah.
Other than a deep disagreement about the Adam Page direction.
We'll find out in a week. One way or the other.
Okay.
And they're going to get you.
Whoever's wrong has to write dummy on their forehead.
I hope you avoid the magic marker, bud.
I've got washable ones. I'm not...
Magic marker? No. I wanted it in Sharpie.
What if we're all wrong? What if Hangman just beats Punk and Omega does nothing? Because then you're technically wrong. Because you're telling me that Omega's going to come out.
Yeah.
So if Hangman just wins, you're still not right.
But neither are you.
You have to write wrong. Yeah.
So then we'd all have to write dummy on our heads.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, that's fair.
Jeebus.
Just making sure.
That's quick.
I don't see any fuckery in that. That's one thing I like about them. Their world title matches usually don't have any fuckery.
Yeah.
Like that's a really nice
other than when Kenny won it.
Yeah, or when Kennedy illegally beat Orange Cassidy. Yeah, which I'm still a little mad about. So.
Oh dear.
So a button on your shorts.
Yeah, that's all we got. Bud, hit us with an outro.
What? Well, this whole thing has been fun.
Interesting thought.
I am Bud. This has been Town and Leon talking about wrestling.
This has been the BREWDCAST Argument Night.
Argument Night, yeah.